Hey guys, Aaron here again with another college football pick. Today I'm going to be talking about the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, the fourth bowl game of the year, and the fourth of the first day actually too. This one features a matchup between Conference USA and Sun Belt teams, two of the weaker conferences in college football, but two conferences with some very good teams at the top. First of all, in this game are the Tulane Green Wave, and they're going to be facing off against Louisiana-Lafayette. So let's start by talking about Tulane. These guys come out of the Conference USA. They hadn't had a winning season since 2002, over a decade. Yes, I was less than 10 years old the last time these guys had a winning season. They're in a second year under this new coach, Curtis Johnson, and he's turned the team around that quick. They feature somebody you might know. If you know Joe Montana, his son Nick actually plays for the Green Wave. He threw like 14 TDs and I think 9 picks this year. He's not like a great offensive powerhouse, but he does a pretty good job behind the center. Okay, so to talk about these guys' season, they kind of went pedestrian in the Conference USA. They went 7-5, 5-3 in the conference, kind of snuck into the bowl game. On the year, they beat a couple decent teams. They beat Eastern Carolina. They beat Tulsa. They beat UTEP. They beat Louisiana Monroe, who was actually decent, and you'll find out how that relates. And they lost 41-39 to South Alabama, who was another upstart team in only their second year in D1, who went 6-6. So shout out to South Alabama. But overall, Tulane didn't look that great. They got throttled 52-17 by Syracuse, who wasn't really that good. They got beat 34-17 by Florida Atlantic, who was terrible. Sorry, Florida Atlantic fans. They got beat 10-7 in a close one at Texas Stephen Austin. They got beat 17-13 in their last game at Rice. They didn't win a lot of big games. There's just no way around it. They kind of choked in a lot of their bigger games. They won all the games they were supposed to, and that's what got them here, but they weren't really that solid. But considering how bad they were and how little time this new coaches have, what they've done is still pretty impressive. They were 33rd in the nation in passing with about 280 yards a game. However, they do not run the ball. They do not. They average 40 yards a game. They are the worst in Division I athletics at running the football. They score about 21 points a game, and they actually also give up about 21 points a game. So most of their games you can usually predict to be close and to be pretty low scoring because their coach has been able to inspire this team and get them through wins by defense, not offense. Their offense is not that stellar. Going again, another team who's not the greatest offensively, also not the greatest defensively, but we're going to transition on to the Louisiana-Lafayette Ragin Cajuns. One of my favorite mascot names. I love the Ragin Cajuns. That's just awesome. They come out of the Sun Belt. They had a pretty solid year. They started out bad, but it was because of their schedule. They played at Arkansas and at Kansas State in the first 2 weeks, and they lost both of them by about 20 points. But, I mean, those were two pretty solid teams, and they were both at their homes, so it's hard to imagine them winning them anyways. They played an FCS team, won big, obviously. They had a few decent wins in the year. They beat Western Kentucky and Arkansas State and Texas State, who were all bowl eligible. Only one of them got a bowl game. They beat Troy, who was kind of off this year, but still usually a decent team. They went 6-6. They were bowl eligible too. But overall, they started out really hot, had an 8-game win streak, and then they got just kind of destroyed, honestly, at the end of the year. They played Louisiana Monroe at home in their last home game on Senior Day and actually lost 31-28, which meant that they had to win their last game at South Alabama to clinch the Sun Belt outright. But Terrence Broadway, their starting quarterback, actually broke his forearm in that Louisiana Monroe game, and when they played South Alabama, they had to use a redshirt freshman, and they got throttled 30-18. They still won a share of the Sun Belt Conference. They tied with Arkansas State for it, so they're technically the winners of it, but it's not outright. Overall, this team is pretty good at passing the ball. They average about 260 yards a game. It's top 50 in the nation. They run for about 193 to 194. That's top 40. So they're pretty balanced and they get the job done on both those. They actually score about 35 points a game, which isn't bad at all. It's about top 20. But they also give up about 28 points a game, so you're not going to see this one be a runaway on either side. I think one of the big keys to this game is going to be Terrence Broadway for Louisiana-Lafayette. You don't know if he's going to be there for it. He broke his forearm, like I said. Nobody really knows if he's going to be back for this. He should be. They say it wasn't a significant break, but nobody really knows. If he is back, he needs to be in good form. And I think if he is back, then Louisiana-Lafayette is going to put up a solid 30 to 35 points and win this one 31 to 23. And I think he will be back. This is Louisiana-Lafayette's third trip in a row to this bowl game, and I think they're going to win another one this time. Shout out to Tulane for all they've done, but I just don't think they have the firepower for it. So overall, I think Broadway will come back, and I think they're going to get the job done. Thanks, guys.